Hi, I'm Karen, and I'm a certified integral yoga instructor and massage therapist at Way Wellness Center. In this video, we will be covering ways to sit in meditation. The further instruction will be provided in other videos about how to start your meditation practice. This is literally physically how to position yourself comfortably so that you can sit for a meditation. Some of the postures we'll be talking about today are Sukhasana, Vajrasana, the use of props for both of those, the use of props for meditation benches, sitting in a chair, and the advanced postures. And for these different postures, we'll be showing you pictures or images of what these seated positions look like and what they look like with props and without props. For someone who is an absolute beginner to the meditation practice and who has not been used to sitting on the floor a lot, it may just be beneficial for you to start out by sitting in a chair, preferably a chair that is not soft, something that is a little bit harder so that you can maintain your posture. A folding chair, the edge of a dining room chair. You can do seating meditation in a softer chair or recliner, but that may lend itself to you falling asleep, and that is not the goal with meditation. It's actually to stay completely alert, not to fall asleep. So if you are able to sit on the edge of a recliner or sit comfortably in some type of other chair, without falling asleep in that chair, then you're welcome to do so. But the basic recommendation is to sit on a harder surfaced chair towards the edge, preferably with your feet flat on the floor or supported, and the back is away from the back of the chair. I'm currently sitting on a stool, so if you have a stool that you can either lock or that doesn't rotate, this one rotates a little bit, so this wouldn't necessarily be the best meditation chair, but if you do have a stool that is stationary or that you can lock, you could also sit on a stool with your feet flat on the floor, as long as that's comfortable for you. You want to make sure that your knees are at or just below hip height. If you're sitting and you feel like your knees are above your hips, as in they're bent at more than a 90-degree angle, then you need to find a different chair or reposition yourself, or maybe add a cushion underneath the back of the hips to try and lift yourself up a little bit more. For those of you that are going to be more comfortable sitting on the floor, the different postures may require the use of props, or they may not. It totally depends on your flexibility and your level of comfort with sitting on the floor. I recommend, if you are going to sit on the floor, that you sit on a mat if you don't have a carpeted floor, just to kind of give your joints a break and a little bit of cushioning, especially your ankles and your knees, and your sits bones, those are the pointy parts of the pelvis that poke down when you're sitting on a surface. If you don't have a yoga mat, that's fine. You don't need a yoga mat to meditate. You can just fold a blanket and place the blanket down on the floor, and then get yourself ready to sit down on top of the blanket. If you feel like you have pretty good open hips and good posture, you could actually sit on a bed, but you're going to sink a little bit when you do that unless you have an extremely firm bed. So again, sitting on the floor, recommended that you sit on top of something, then sit on your props, or not if you don't need props. I sit on it's almost like a quilt. It's thin, but it's enough cushion that I'm not sitting directly on the wood surface of our floors. We don't have carpet. At the meditation halls where I've learned how to meditate, there have been carpeted surfaces, so it's a little bit more comfortable than just sitting directly on it like laminate or tile or hardwood floor. So the first pose we'll talk about and demonstrate is Sukhasana. That translates to easy pose. Sukha means sweet or comfortable or steady or easy. Asana is pose. So if you've been to a yoga class before and you've heard them using Sanskrit words for things, you'll hear the word asana is part of the description of a lot of words. Asana just means posture. So Sukhasana is easy pose. In Western language, especially for those of you that are exposed to kids in your life, you've probably heard crisscross applesauce. That's all this is. You're sitting on the floor, knees are bent underneath you, and then if you feel like your hips are too tight and your knees are up too high, you can put a cushion or a pillow under the edge of the sits bones so that the pelvis is just slightly moving forward, but you're maintaining the natural curvature of the spine. You don't want a straight, flat spine. You want this to be a natural position. You might even feel like you're falling backwards a little bit because we're so used to overarching our spine or overextending into a flat back when there are actually natural curves that occur in the spine that act as like a tensile mechanism to support the skull and to hold the rest of the body. So when you're sitting in this posture, or any posture, sitting on the edge of the chair, sitting on the floor, you'll feel the shoulders are sort of draping. It's a draping feeling, as though they're just sort of suspended from across the area of the shoulder girdle and the collarbones. They're not forward, they're not too far back. It's just a draping, downward feeling of relaxation, and the hands are either palm up or palm down on the knees or in the lap in a cupped posture. If sitting in Sukhasana or crisscross applesauce is not comfortable for you, like if you have some joint pain, if this is just not a good pose for you, you can also kneel in a pose called Vajrasana. That's the diamond pose is the name for it, but it is kneeling. So thinking of just literally kneeling down on the floor, and your tops of your feet are flat to the floor and your hips are on your heels. So again, this can actually be pretty strenuous for somebody who's not used to doing this. At first it may feel very comfortable, but after a few minutes you might notice that you're not feeling comfortable in this pose. So to help with this, you can use a yoga block or a pillow between the heels to lift the hips, or you can put a pillow across the top of the heels, between the heels and the buttocks, or you can use a pillow beneath the ankles so that you don't have as much pressure going downward onto the ankles. These are all different options, but again, your spine is going to be in that natural curved position, but lifting with the shoulders draping down the back. Other options you have that tend to cost a little bit more money or might be a little bit more difficult to get depending on where you live. You may have to order something online for these, but you can buy different types of meditation benches if you like the kneeling pose, but you just cannot put the weight anywhere onto your ankles. The meditation benches are designed to lift the hips and support them for you while your legs are in the kneeling posture. It's actually quite comfortable. They come in different styles. Some of them are just like a plank of wood with legs, and then you sit on that plank of wood. Others are padded, and still others are shaped different ways. And some of them even have backrests. I've seen ones that have a plank across with legs, and then there's a backrest. So it's almost like you're sitting in a chair, but it's a kneeling chair. And that backrest presses into the lower part of the spinal area so that it's supporting you in that relaxed but curved upright position rather than you leaning back into it. Those are really nice. I've also seen some that are, it's like a circle of wood with a post, and the circle of wood goes under the hips, and then the post just supports it from beneath. I have not personally used one of those. I've heard many people that love them. They're easy to travel with because they come apart and they'll fit in a bag. Meditation benches don't. Other options that you might have besides the meditation benches and just a plain flat pillow, there are many different styles of meditation cushions that are available now. You can use anything as simple as a yoga block up to a custom-made curved meditation cushion that fits underneath the hips and supports the sides of the thighs as they slope down. Again, they're extremely comfortable, but it's also an investment. If you feel like you'll truly benefit from having one of those and have the money to do so, having one of those is great. But they don't tend to pack well. They're a little bit more sizable than just having a little yoga block or like a tiny pillow cushion that you can roll up and put under the hips. So again, lots of different options just depending on what you want to have and how much you want to commit to your meditation practice. So one more thing I want to talk about are more advanced meditation postures. If you've been to a yoga class or if you've seen pictures of people meditating, you may have noticed a position that looks like Sukhasana or crisscross applesauce, but the one foot is up on the opposite foot's inner thigh near the groin, or you might have seen it where both feet are on top of the thighs inside near the groin. Those are called Ardha Padmasana for the one foot and Padmasana for both feet. That is very advanced. That requires you to have a very advanced level of flexibility, very open hips. It's a very stable posture because it sort of locks everything in there and it creates a very solid triangular base, whether you have props with it or not. But again, it's a very advanced posture. I don't recommend trying to start out with that if you haven't already had a regular enough asana practice to get yourself into a place where you can do those positions comfortably and properly. I will not be describing those now. I just wanted to say something about those because I know that those are very familiar images in the media and on the internet and in different documentaries where you see people doing these things. Those are not simple postures by any means, even for the people that are doing them in those videos. So basically, to sum all of that up, when you're picking out how you want to sit, the goal is to be stable and steady and feel supported and grounded and comfortable so that you remain alert and don't fall asleep. It keeps the airway open, it keeps the energy moving upwards, it allows you to breathe properly. That is what you're going for. That is all important. So if you don't look like a picture you saw on the internet, that's fine. Chances are they're probably not even really meditating in that picture because they're trying to make it look good. It's not always the most attractive thing to say meditation. That's not the purpose of it. So like I just said, the benefits of these postures are they keep the airway open, they keep you alert, but relaxed and supported and grounded. They all have the same purpose. So no matter how you choose to sit, even if you're someone who is a seasoned floor sitter and you just don't want to sit on the floor and you want to sit on the edge of a chair, there's nothing wrong with that. They all have the same benefit ultimately. So how often should you sit in meditation, given now that you know what these postures look like and what you have to choose from? Ideally, you would be sitting 1 to 2 times a day to start. If you only have 5 minutes, sit for 5 minutes. If you have the ability to sit for 10 to 15 minutes, sit for 10 to 15 minutes. It's really going to ultimately depend on what you have time for, but also what your body is able to do right now. So if you know you can sit comfortably for 5 minutes, but 10 minutes is going to leave you with the pain in your back that is going to wreck your day, don't do that. Listen to your body. Take time for yourself, but listen to your body because that's going to be crucial for you to want to continue the meditation practice. If you try to force it and it causes any type of pain for you, it's not going to be something that you look forward to, and you want to look forward to your meditation practice so that even on the days you don't want to do it, you know that you can. If you would like personal instruction on how to do this and to talk about your situation and any limitations you might have that are of concern to you, please give us a call at 412-772-1461 or send us an email at waywellnesscenter@gmail.com and we can get you set up with a private appointment. Thank you so much.